Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about rhetorical synthesis. What is this question type? How do we attempt this? This particular question type, when you look at it on the test or while practicing, you might feel like it's such a long text to read. The text format of this question type is in bullet points. So you might feel overwhelmed as to, how much you need to read. There's a lot to read, and then read your options, eliminate them, and things like that. But the reality of this question type is that this is the easiest question type that you can attempt on the exam and be very confident about the answer choice that you pick up. Now let's go ahead and understand what this type really is and what is it that you need to do in order to attempt and get the right answer in this question type. Now here, like I've already mentioned, you will not get a text. The text format is basically in bullet points. Those are basically a student making notes. You've got to read the notes. Now, when to read the notes is something that's very crucial to understand and which we'll be understanding later in the video when we understand the strategy. Now, there's always a goal to achieve. The question stem will always ask you to achieve a particular goal. This goal is something that we have to be very sure about. What is the goal that we are supposed to achieve? Because the entire strategy will revolve around that particular goal, which is mentioned in the question stem. Now let's go ahead and see the 4-step strategy approach for this particular type. The first step is always the same. You have to read the question stem. Now for this type, when you're reading the question stem, you're specifically supposed to identify the goal. What is the goal that the question stem is asking us to achieve? Be very clear with it. Once you have gained that understanding, move on to the third step. Now be careful. In the third step, you've got to eliminate your options. We are not going to read the bullet points. We will directly go to the options. Now, when you're going through your options, you're supposed to eliminate those options which do not help us meet the goal mentioned in the question stem. Let me tell this again. We will eliminate the options that do not meet the goal that has been mentioned in the question stem. Let's say there are 4 options. You are able to eliminate 2 of them, and you will have 2 of the options remaining, and you're very conflicted, you feel like both the options are meeting the goal. In such a case, you will go ahead and read the bullet points, and that's your 4th step. In such a case, you will go ahead and read the bullet points and try to eliminate one more option based on the information given on the bullet points and based on the goal that you're supposed to achieve. Now, most of the times, you will not feel the need to go to the 4th step. You will be able to get your answer in the 3rd step itself if you have the exact clarity of what the goal is, what is it that you need to do. Now let us go ahead and see the implementation of this 4-step strategy approach in 3 difficulty level questions released by College Board: easy, medium, and difficult. Let's take up the first question. Now this is the easy difficulty level question. This is your question stem. So like the first step says, we will read the question stem. The student wants to emphasize a difference between the 2 muslins. Which choice most effectively uses relevant information from the notes to accomplish this goal? This particular part of the question stem will always remain the same. The goal that you're supposed to identify, or the goal that you're supposed to meet, is going to be mentioned in the first part of this question stem. That is, the student wants to emphasize a difference between the 2 muslins. What is the goal? Second step is identify the goal. The goal is to identify an option which tells us the difference between the 2 muslins. So any option that gives me a difference between the 2 muslins is going to be the correct option. Now that we've identified the goal, the third step is we'll move to our options and start eliminating our options that are not meeting the goal. So let's see the first one. Dhaka muslin is a handmade fabric with an extremely fine weave, while sheeting muslin is machine made with a coarse weave. So we have 2 muslins. This one is a handmade fabric and this one is a machine made fabric. So this particular option is definitely talking about 2 muslins, dhaka and sheeting, and I definitely could see the difference between the 2 muslins. So I feel like I've already got my correct option, but again, like I always say, we will have to go ahead and eliminate our options. B. Dhaka muslin and sheeting muslin are 2 different types of woven cotton fabrics. Now B, what is it doing? It definitely tells me about 2 muslin types, but it does not tell me how do they differ from each other. What is the difference between the 2 types of muslins? That is not clear. So I'm going to eliminate this option. Now let's look at option C. Muslins can be used in a variety of ways, from making luxury clothing to upholstering furniture and creating backdrops for theater sets. Now, what is this option telling us? It's just telling us how muslins can be used. But that is not the goal that I want to meet. The goal that I want to meet is the difference between the two muslins. So C is out because it's again not helping me achieve my goal. Let's look at D. Sheeting muslin is machine made, has a coarse weave, and is used for furniture and theater sets. Now, this option is only talking about one of the types. It's just talking about sheeting muslin. I don't have the mention of the second type of muslin. There is no difference, nothing. So, definitely, again, not meeting the goal. A is the only option that's talking about two types of muslins and is telling me the difference between both of them. So I hope you understood how having the clarity of what the goal is going to help you eliminate your options easily, and you will not feel the need to read the bulleted points. Let's go ahead and see another question. Now the difficulty level of this question is medium. Let's read the question stem. The student wants to present the study to an audience already familiar with environmental DNA. Now, like I've already said, the second part is almost always the same, so I'm not going to read this. I'll just focus on the first part of the question stem. And what is the goal? Let's identify the goal again. The student wants to present the study to a certain type of audience. Now, what is this audience type? They already know what environmental DNA is. What is the question stem trying to tell us? The question stem is trying to tell us that whichever option I pick up should not explain what environmental DNA is, because the audience already knows about it. So the correct option should not give us an explanation of what environmental DNA is. It should rather focus on presenting the study, what the study was about. Now, when it comes to presenting the study, you want to talk about how the study was conducted, what all did you do to conduct the study. These are the details that I am looking for in my correct option. Right? Now, with this understanding, let's go ahead and start eliminating our options. A. Sarah's researchers analyzed eDNA in water samples. So these researchers, they are analyzing eDNA in this particular samples from the Florida Everglades. These samples are from here, for evidence of invasive constrictor snakes. Why are they doing so? Because of the evidence. They want to find some evidence of invasive constrictor snakes which are difficult to observe. So this option is not explaining. First of all, it's not explaining eDNA. Second of all, it's telling me what the study is about. Right? How did they do this? How did they conduct the study? What was the reason? From where did they get the samples? And why are they doing this study? They are doing this because they're difficult to observe. Overall, I feel A is meeting my goal, but I still have to go ahead and eliminate my options. So B. An analysis of eDNA can detect the presence of invasive species that are difficult to observe, such as these. Now, it might look like a very appealing option, but the problem with this option is that it tells me what the analysis of eDNA can do, a possibility of something happening. It does not tell me about the study. I'm not looking for an option that tells me the possibility of achieving something because of the analysis of eDNA. I'm looking for an option that tells me about the study. What did it do in the study? That is what we want to know. We don't want to know what the study can do, but what they did in study. Understand the difference between the two things. And because of this reason, I'm going to eliminate B. Let's go to C. Researchers found Burmese python, eDNA, or environmental DNA in water samples. eDNA is the blah blah blah. Now, what is this particular part doing? It's telling me what environmental DNA is. Environmental DNA or eDNA, what is that? Again, like the question stem told me, we are talking to an audience that is familiar with it. So I will not pick up an option that is giving an explanation of what environmental DNA is, right? So I will eliminate C because it's talking about or it's explaining what eDNA is, which I don't want in the correct option. Let's go to D now. Sarah's researchers analyzed environmental DNA, eDNA, that is DNA from blah blah blah. So that means that we have an explanation of eDNA coming up. It's an explanation of what environmental DNA is. Again, this is something that I don't want in the correct option. Again, this is something that I don't want in my correct option. I don't want the correct option to explain what eDNA is because the audience is already familiar with it. So very clearly, A is the correct option that I can pick up. So this is how the different question stems you're going to get. This is how the different goals you're going to get. The more you practice, the better you'll know what kind of goals you can be asked for. This is one of those types. The question stem will simply tell you that you are explaining or presenting something to an audience who's already familiar with it. The question stem is actually trying to tell you that do not pick up the option which is explaining that particular concept because audience is familiar with it. Now with this, let's move ahead and take up a difficult level question for rhetorical synthesis. Alright, so the difficulty level is hard. Let's read the question stem. The student wants to present the primary aim of the research study. Again, this is what I'm going to focus on. What is the goal? The goal is to present the primary aim of a study. Primary aim means the purpose of the study. Why was that study even conducted? We need the correct option to state the purpose of conducting the study. Let's go ahead and read our options now. A. Bosley's team wanted to better understand the mechanics behind bird nests' uniquely flexible yet cohesive structural properties. Now this tells me what were they trying to do. They wanted to better understand something. Looks like a purpose to me. Looks like a purpose which is telling me why the study was conducted, because they wanted to better understand something. But again, I still have to go ahead and eliminate my options. Let's look at B. The researchers used laboratory models that simulated the arrangement of flexible sticks and analyzed the points where sticks touched one another. Now this option is simply telling me what the researchers used. That is not what the goal is in the question stem. The question stem says very clearly that I need the correct option to state the purpose of the study, not what they used in the study. So I'm going to eliminate B for that reason. Let's go to C now. After analyzing the points where sticks touched, the researchers found that the structures became blah blah blah. Anyways, this particular option is simply telling me what happened after they analyzed something. Like it's telling me the process. Okay, the step 1 was this, step 2 they analyzed something, step 3 they found something. But it's not telling me why the study was conducted. And because of this reason, I'm going to eliminate C as well. Last option D. As analyzed by Bosley's team, bird nests are uniquely flexible yet cohesive engineered structures. Now this is kind of telling me the finding of the study, presenting the finding. What did they analyze? What did they find? I don't care about that information. All I care about is why the study was conducted. So I'm going to eliminate D as well, and very clearly A is the correct option. I hope you guys understood how easy this question type is and how you can avoid all that reading, these bullet points. You can just avoid reading these bullet points by ensuring that you have understood the goal of the question stem or the goal mentioned in the question stem. That's all for now. Thank you so much.